Okay. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's the 5th of June, 2020, and I'm Roy Potter. Welcome as you come in. I have to put this up tonight. Yes, it's a full moon, and we're due for an eclipse, I suppose. Uh, the things are bad. The occult are moving very quickly now, and those who don't know that they're being controlled by the occult are going right along with it. Uh, we knew that, as I said yesterday, I put out that concern and quoted Rich Higgins about the Muslims starting to make their presence known during all of this. And they started today. It's very low key at this point, very low intensity, but it could pick up very quickly, as you know. Uh, just a couple of observations. Um, Of course, the DOD has turned its back on Trump. Now, I'm not for troops in the streets, but there are other ways to handle this using the DOD resources. And as Nancy Morgan Hart and Mark Pantano have pointed out today, Barr knows what those options are, and so does Secretary of Defense Esper, but they're not doing them, ladies and gentlemen, because this is the takedown of America. If you don't see it coming, it's here. It's absolutely here. And again, I have to make some caveats. We've been an evil nation for so long, and I'm not going to enumerate all the reasons that that's the case. If you don't know, it won't be any good for me to tell you now. Our principles that we were founded upon were correct and just, and they promoted liberty, but we turned our back on them. We've taken the lives of the innocents. We've destroyed people's properties. We've made government God instead of the people being responsible to God, the real God. I mean, I could go on and on, but what I need to say tonight is this, and I'll make a public statement. I put it on Twitter, but I'm going to say it again now. The police have had problems in this country for a long time. I've been upfront with that. That doesn't mean that we don't need to have I don't want to call them law enforcement, that we don't need peacekeepers, peace officers. We do. That whole process of going from peace officers to law enforcement was a bad move. It was very much like going from personnel management to human resource management. It has the same kind of evil connotations. And it was all done deliberately, ladies and gentlemen. They've destroyed our human side. They destroyed what God meant us to be. They've slipped in the back door, and we've let them in because they promised us things that we really shouldn't have even been wanting. And I'm stumbling around here. Hi, Nancy. I'm stumbling around here a little bit. Let me just jump to the quick, okay? The other day, we saw pictures of National Guard kneeling, and we thought that those people were all uh, actors because the unit patches didn't match up. There were some uniform anomalies and some other things. Whether or not they were actual National Guard or not, it doesn't matter. It was what the propaganda was saying in that. However, since then, we have seen National Guard kneeling. We have seen National Guard dancing in the streets. A total loss of military discipline. They've lost any common sense, and unfortunately, their MET-T, their Mission Essentials task list, all of that, has gone out the window. Some of you probably don't even know what I'm talking about. Basically, what I'm saying is they're proving they're. Remember what I said, that we're technologically superior to a lot of countries on the earth. But our military, our morale, and the physical condition of our troops, and I don't mean their ability to do push-ups, their physical and emotional condition is absolutely rock bottom because we put our money in technology, not in building up the actual people. the training and all of that. And obviously, one of the problems in the training has been integrity, right? I'm not for police brutality, whatever. Not at all. I've been very outspoken about that. But I'm also not for telling the police that they're not essential. This was not and I'm going on record again, this was not a racial killing, ladies and gentlemen. There is no way this was a racial killing. These people knew each other. This had some criminal undertones that had nothing to do with the race card. None whatsoever. And it's been used for that. COVID-19 was fizzling out. People are getting upset about it. They needed another thing, and here it came. Plus, they need to have this so that they can lock us down in the future during the reset. When they take everything from you, they need to have their assets in place so that you can't rise up and say something about it. Let me get back to the main problem here. National Guard bowing, kneeling. Police kneeling. Mayors, governors kneeling. And today, on my Twitter, Rich Higgins put it out, you have FBI agents, looks like there are about a dozen, maybe a few more, all kneeling today. The FBI. Now that's interesting because the FBI is very much, along with the CIA and the IC, responsible for all of this. Imagine, we now find out that Antifa is an international organization and they've been doing international operations, passing information, etc. And the FBI didn't pick it up. The FBI never acted, yet they'll go after, and I know it sounds like I'm defending Trump, but they did all of those things to Trump and his team and to us. You should have seen the army that they sent against the ranchers at Bundy Ranch. If you've never looked at that, and yet I didn't hear anybody complaining about that. Now I know they weren't the military, but it was still basically the same thing. And yet those people were standing for their constitutional rights. Now we have this situation, and we have government entities bowing to Soros. That's really what this is. Do you understand? They are bowing to Soros. They are bowing to leftist Marxism. People will be out there saying, no, we're agreeing that there shouldn't be this racial inequality and all this. Horse hockey. That's not what's happening here. So my little graphic from yesterday with the orchard that was barren looks like it's truer than even I realized. Yeah, this is Luciferian worship. Remember, in the book of Revelations, it says that when Jesus returns, every knee shall bow and every tongue confess that he is the Christ. Remember, I tell you, Satan, Lucifer, however you want to look at him, Lucifer's not his name again, as I've told you. He's usurped that now. Okay, he's imitated it. And now our nation's leaders are bowing to him and to Soros. Why? Because we did turn our face away from the true and living God. We did, whose children we are. And we decided to worship a God fashioned after our own hands, fashioned with our own hands, an idol worship. This is very evil what's happened here, and it's no wonder the FBI has been so bad and continues to be. Ray, when I saw Barr get up the other day and praise Ray and the FBI that he loved is back, I knew we were wrong. How were we wrong? Ever trusting them. I just saw somebody say that arrests are coming. Yeah, well, so's Christmas, so's the millennium, so's 2030, so's 2060, so's 2050. They'll take a few. They haven't even charged Kleinsmith yet. Lisa Page is now an MSNBC legal analyst. And I saw where Sidney Powell said, oh, or maybe it was Catherine Austin Fitts, it was one of the two, said, oh, well, Lisa must know that her indictment is pending and now she's trying to, fix it up. Well, whatever. FBI agents, military, mayors, governors, bowing to the principles of leftist Marxism disguised as an appreciation of diversity and love of humankind. In other words, by peace they shall destroy many. Oh man, this is bad. This is bad. So, in D.C. tonight, apparently the National Guard has been disarmed. They're no longer able to carry their weapons. The 82nd Airborne is going home, which probably is okay with me. I didn't like that in the first place. But there isn't going to be much there to protect Trump if he's still there. If this goes bad tonight or this weekend, tomorrow, it's going to be real bad because basically everybody's standing down. The entire apparatus to protect the good people of this country from the evils and the injuries that will be done to them and have already been done to them. Those protections are going to be removed. And as I've been saying, you're going to be on your own. Okay, well, I didn't quite bring that down the way I wanted to. I guess the thing I really wanted to pressure on to really push was when I saw that picture of the FBI kneeling in front of those leftist Marxists. Not all the protesters are leftist Marxists, but their protests are not legitimate in actuality. I'm sorry, they're not. And it's been used, pushed, directed, funded by Soros and the leftist Marxists that want to take down the perfect law of liberty that this nation was supposed to aspire to, but it looks like it's all gone. It looks like it's all gone. Yeah, the FBI are SJWs. They're all millennials. It's what I said about those National Guard the other day doing the same thing. I said, what do you expect with units that are billeted with millennials and SJWs that have been trained in the system, both in the education system, in entertainment, even in some of their religious institutions, they're trained in this garbage. So this is a very serious development in my estimation. And I'm sorry I've bounced around a little bit. Frankly, I'm so aghast. I'm so befuddled by this. I knew it was going to go a long way, but I never thought that they would publicly show. I'm talking about the FBI and the National Guard, the military, Department of Defense, these various police departments. I never thought they would overtly show their hand. Underhanded, I knew that was there, but to do this, ladies and gentlemen, they have no fear. Do you understand that? It's just like I said about McRaven, Admiral McRaven, and General McChrystal and the rest of them. The reason why they jumped sides is because they saw who was on the winning side. And I keep seeing these people say, Trump's ready to pounce. Trump's going to come out. He's about ready to do his move. You've been saying that for 3 years. And it's gotten worse every day. And then now Trump wants to take credit for this rebound, he's calling it, in the jobs. Hey, it's just because some of the places are opening up and they're rehiring their old people. They're not new jobs being created. Ivanka's out there bragging about it. I'm ashamed of her. I'm ashamed of her. And I'm ashamed of Trump And then Trump yesterday, or maybe it was today, all this stuff starts to blend together. Trump's out there talking about his accomplishments in confronting COVID 19, the Wuhan virus. And he's still pushing tracing, and he's still pushing the vaccines, and he's still pushing the military working with the governments through August, and that he made all these ventilators, which weren't the right thing to do in the first place, as we know now. And he tries to say, well, we really didn't understand the virus. Well, then why the hell did you shut the whole damn country down? If he's not a part of it, he is a total incompetent buffoon. But I still lend credence to the fact that he's complicit in this. He agreed to be the fall guy. What his reward is going to be, I'm not sure, but it must be something pretty big. They'll probably fake his assassination and send him off somewhere with some hooker, some young girl he screwed back a few years ago. Leave Melania and his son behind. I mean, I'm beginning to think that's the kind of guy he is. If that's an unfair judgment, God forgive me. But I certainly have more than enough reason to be suspicious of this guy at this point. Yeah, I saw that lightning struck the Washington Monument. I think we're going down, ladies and gentlemen, and there have been those that have been predicting that, oh no, we've got another 5, 10, 20, 50 years. No, we don't. No, we don't. Alex Jones. Boy, I keep going on and on, don't I? Once I get on a soapbox, I don't know when to shut up. That's why I drink coffee, because when it gets cold, I know to shut up. Alex Jones is out there talking today about this whole COVID-19 and how it's been a big fraud and how horrible Fauci is and how horrible Gates is. Oh, Gates is a demon. Oh, absolutely. Gates should be arrested. He's a mad scientist. He's been doing a lot of this stuff, but he's not arrested. Soros isn't arrested. Fauci and Birx are still on the run, out on the loose. In other words, they're not being corralled. And the bad thing is, Trump is still pushing the COVID stuff, and Alex Jones doesn't even mention that he's doing it, doesn't even call him on it. He should have said today, yeah, Gates is pushing this and the COVID thing and all these terrible things are happening. We know it's a fraud. All these different scientists and countries are coming out saying it's all been a fraud. And he never mentioned that Trump was behind the fraud one time and call him out for it. Never. All right. I've taken too much of your time tonight. Be on the lookout. Keep your sentries up. I just saw a tweet where they're getting Antifa and the protesters coming into rural areas of Missouri. Probably just outside of St. Louis would be my guess. And that's going to happen more and more. Okay. And I just got another message. I haven't had a chance to look at it, but apparently something's happened in Florida. So this weekend's going to be bad, especially if the police stand down and the National Guard, even doing peacekeeping, just standing on the streets guarding, stuff, which is really not a good thing for them to do. But if they're all gone, these devils will have free reign, and that's what they've turned into. They're not concerned about this black guy that was murdered by a cop, again, not for racial reasons, but because it was probably a hit or a cover-up of some criminal activity, because they were all friends, they all knew each other. It's not about him. It's about taking down what's left of the Constitution of the United States and you, the American people. They want your blood. They want your flesh. I guess that's all I've got. I'm just glad that the FBI showed who they really are, and I've already known it. Wray, Comey, Mueller. As I tweeted out the other day, I've known how bad the FBI is for 4 decades because of my personal and professional contacts with them. But the whole government's that way. So now they've officially bowed to Lucifer. And Lucifer's representatives at this point, and I'm sure there are more, certainly out of the UN, but most certainly Soros and Gates. All right. And Trump and Barr will do nothing about that. Remember, I said the list will come out, and they're saying they're investigating Antifa's, you know, different rat lines and all that, and control and command and control. And they should have hit them long before this. But see, they don't want to because that was the mechanism, and Barr knows it. So he's letting it go. And the real true bottom line is he hasn't collared Gates or Soros. They haven't sent the Delta team in, the Delta Force. I can tell you, if I were in control, I would have taken those guys out a long time ago. But our evil and wickedness in this country is really bad, and we're kind of get and now the evil side, God has withdrawn his protection from us, and the evil side gets to have their way with us. All right. Okay. Out for now. All right. I'll probably come back on sometime during the weekend, possibly. All right. Maybe even later tonight, depending on what happens. Again, sorry I bounced around a bit. I'm really this. Somebody said they didn't think that Alex Jones should be surprised when all this happens. Well, I've known it's going to happen, but even I'm not just disgusted, but dismayed and a little disoriented about it, actually, because the in your face part of it is just so astounding. All right, I gotta go. Sorry about the light in here. It's I'm on the move and threw this up, and I've got just a couple of lights here. I didn't bother to turn on the studio light. All right, we'll talk to you later.